She says the Masonic fraternity is the home of mysteries and the state of initiation. It is a far more occult organization than can be realized and is
intended.
Yes, thank you. Intended to be the training school for the coming advanced occultists. Okay, that's from Alice. This is right out of the horse's mouth. And then Elder Pike talks about what that emblem means. You know the Masonic emblem? This is coming from their own mouth. This is coming from the 33rd degree or higher, Elder Pike, who, by the way, is the founder of the KKK. The triangle pointing downward is the female symbol corresponding to Yanni, and the upward pointing triangle is the male, the lingam. When the two triangles are interlaced, it represents the union of active and passive forces in nature. It represents the male and female elements. Okay? And a lot of people say, well, that just stands for, what is it there? The Masons practice there. I can't even think. Now my brain just went totally. The G. They're saying it stands for something to do with...
They say it stands for God, too.
Oh, yeah. Some of them say it stands for God. The Satanists say that it stands for, I'm not going to say it here, but anyway. It's not good. I'm going to try to move a little quicker here. Now, the tassels that you see on the... Has anybody ever seen the Shriners' hats? They said the reason it's bloody is when they were killing the Christians and the Jews, they would dump their hat in blood. But here you see, right here, you see Joseph Smith. This is the Mormon. They're kind of mimicking this. See, and here's that same cross with a crown.
Yeah.
Right here is a close-up of this is Charles Tass Russell's tombstone. This is in a Freemasons cemetery. So you can see that. And here, when you get more advanced in the Freemasonry, they replace the G with a sun with a face in it. And you're thinking, well, what's that got to do with anything? Well, the Babylonians, they worship the sun god. And here's better pictures of some of these other. Here you can see the Shriners. And then here you see the Pope standing behind the Muslim. Now here you see, here's the Masonic, another lapel pin with the sun with the face on it. But look it up here. Here's another Masonic. I actually got this from a Masonic website. It's a supply store for Masons. And right there it is. There you see the Muslim Islam. So they're one and the same. And once you reach that level, that's the level of the Shriner. And here you see that sun thing that the Pope always carries. Look inside. You see the half moon crescent. Remember what we talked about last week? Crescent moon being equivalent to Lucifer. And here's another Mormon temple. The apron, it still has that all-seeing eye, the same as the Freemasons have the all-seeing eye. So you can see where Joseph Smith took a lot of his stuff and how they're so entwined. There's just so much, you're passing that coincidence mark. Now here you look, here you see the Muslim SS soldiers there. They have the same as Hitler's there. See that? The exact same emblems. Exactly the same. And this is, right down here is a picture of Amin al-Husseini, Yasser Arafat's mentor, who was also a general in Hitler's SS.
Can you push it up? We can't see it in the back.
Oh, okay. How's that?
Yeah.
That better?
Okay, so...
And here's the same guy sitting with Hitler down at the bottom. This guy is a Muslim. And one of the things, and you see over here, here's a Muslim holding hands with a priest. Mm-hmm. They have no problems standing together because they worship the same God. Wow. They don't have any problems at all. And this is why, and I talked about that last, I showed...
What confuses people is that the Catholic Church says they worship Jesus. But you didn't really. I mean, they have all kinds of ceremonies. You go to Catholic Church, but...
Now you hear.
They have Mary, they have all the saints, they don't have Jesus.
Yeah.
That's right.
They have his picture as dead on the cross.
Yeah.
The only thing they have Jesus is dead on the cross.
Yeah, and that is an occult. If you look at that, I'm going to show you that right now. The cross that the Pope holds, that big cross, that that icon, that logo, he's not a normal man. If you look at him, he's emaciated and he's hanging way down. It's a satanic cross. It's a bent cross. I will show you that. I got that here too. But one of the things I want to point out here, see, you have a Muslim here kissing the Pope's hand. You have other Muslims sitting next to them. Muslims have no problem kissing the Pope because they believe he is a prophet of God. Yes, in Revelation, now I'll get here real quick and I'll try to...
They're all bowing before the Pope.
Yeah, and in Revelation it gives us the key. It says, there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials and talked with me saying, come hither, I will show thee the great judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth, right here you see it, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemies, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abomination of the earth. Now, that's pretty strong, harsh. Those are pretty hard words. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Now that word admiration could be changed also to amazement. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and the beast that carried her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundations of the world, when they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains on which the woman sits. And there are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet to come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goes into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. All right, right there. If we look at this and we go through the scriptures and we go through... Let me see if I can find it here. Starting with, since it's on 7 hills. Okay, that when you look that up in the Greek, it just means something that's raised. It could be a hill or a mount. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a mountain. Okay? There's only 2 places in the world where a city is actually sitting on what they call 7 hills. Rio de Janeiro. But that doesn't influence kings around the world, though, does it? No. The Catholic Encyclopedia, talk about out of the horse's mouth again, says this. It is within the city of Rome, called the City of 7 Hills, that the entire area of the Vatican state proper is now confined. Pretty interesting, huh? The 7 heads are the 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, and there are 7 kings. And it says there's 7 kings. Now you think, 7 kings. What does that mean? Well, in 1929, the Vatican City was established as an independent nation. And from that time, we've had exactly 7 popes. But a pope, because of this being established as a nation now, can also be considered a king. So they're a king of their own nation. So you had Pius the 11th in 1922, Pius the 12th in 1939, and Pope John the 23rd in 1959. You had Paul the 6th in 1963, John Paul the 1st in 1978, John Paul the 2nd in 1978, and then we have Benedict in 2005, who was the 7th Pope.
He was a head of eagle too.
Yes, he was, which is pretty interesting. There says there came 7 angels and had 7 vials and talked with me, saying, come here and I will show you the judgment of the great whore that sits on the waters, who are the kings of the earth. Now, water has always been, it can be referred to as people. Many people. Many of the world's leaders have partaken in this woman's spiritual fornication. as we have seen the Catholic Church's power over, and you can see it right here. Every single president in the U.S. and around the world has been seen bowing down. You even had queens, king. They all bow down to this guy. And then you look, why did God call them Mother Heart? She's a whore. People think that the Catholics were the ones that came up with the prayer beads. No, it goes all the way back to the Babylonian days. You look at the prayer, Buddhism has prayer beads. Islamics have prayer beads. The Hindus have prayer beads. It's all the way back. You can see inscriptions in Iraq of, the prayer beads. And then you see the same thing. I try to lift this up. With the all-seeing eye, it's kind of, you see it on the dollar bill, the Egyptian, hieroglyphics. You see it on a Masonic pendant up there, right near my finger here. I'm having a hard time coordinating. Then you see it over, I'll just do it here. You see it here, okay? And then you see it here. These are in the Catholic, Roman Catholic groups here. That's in the pulpit. You have the all-seeing eye. And the thing that's pretty interesting is this man here has the same exact, see the all-seeing eye there? Here's Aleister Crowley, who wrote the Satanic Bible. He's got a hat that has that same exact all-seeing eye. What's that? Waiting for Nimrod. Osiris. Satanic, that's what they're waiting for. And here, the Bible very clearly tells us, in Jeremiah 7:18, the children gather wood, and the fathers kindle fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven. Pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. That makes God angry when people are bowing down to idols and images. God tells us in Isaiah 42:8, I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory I will not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. You see? So many people bow down and say, we're not worshiping. Why are you bowing down to it? And the Bible very clearly tells us, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. Do you realize in the Catholic Ten Commandments that's missing? It doesn't say any graven images. They replaced it with another coveting.
Wow. Yeah. What was that last scripture reading? Should we tell me?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was Exodus 20:4 and 5. That was in the Ten Commandments. Now here's what Gary was just saying.
Oh, yeah, I got that picture here.
There you go. He was a Hitler Youth. Now if you think Catholicism worships Satan unknowingly,
A little more powerful on you.
yeah. You can see the upside down cross. This is from a CNN. Okay. I mean, if you look, it's right in plain sight. Here, the Pope is receiving the Hindu mark of Shiva. It's synonymous, according to Anton LaVey, who is a high priest Satanist, saying it's the same word, it's the same person as Satan. It's Lucifer. He's receiving the mark of Lucifer on his forehead. And here, he's kissing the Quran that adamantly denies that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God.
Look at his chair, though. He's sitting in
Yeah. It's bottom side of cross. People don't realize it. I mean, going through these really as quick as I can. In the Vatican City is one of the places where they have the largest cone in the world. And you think, well, what's a cone? Well, that was a symbol of, let me see how I have. Regeneration. Yeah, thank you. Regeneration. But you see it. It's here, the pagan god with pine cone, here in India, and right here on the Pope's staff, pine cone. Pine cone. Right there's that bent cross again. See? And the pine cone's on the end. Too many coincidences, people, for this just to be...
So what is the pine cone name? Yeah.
It's regeneration. It's by the Assyrian wing god. The Assyrian wing god carried it. Goes all the way back to Tammuz of Babylon.
I can't see the pine cone honey, over in the ones in Mexico and
This one here?
yeah, I can see
Okay,
it.
right there's the pine cone there. And right there's the pine cone. It's hard to see, but it's right there. Right where my finger is. Right there is the pine cone. But there you see the pine cone here, right? Blown up right there. It's right underneath the... I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just too much.
Yeah.
Too much. I mean, you could say one thing like somebody does a logo and it's got a triangle. That, you could read in